But before I go further, I want us to look at what is happening on the daily time frame, and let's see what is going on, after which we are going to be identifying trading opportunities that we might be able to take during the New York session today. Well, on the daily time frame, the US oil has been on a very strong long-term bullish momentum. I think in the last couple of years, price has continually respected this bullish trend line that I was able to identify on the daily time frame after connecting the series of higher lows here. As you can see, our price has consistently respected that bullish trend line. However, if we go further, fast forward into the present moment, and probably a time frame of about let's say 4 to 5, 6 weeks thereabout, we can see that the trend line as well has been rejected multiple times during this period of 6 weeks, as we can see how the buyers are trying to make a statement by holding on to the bullish trend line around this point. So since last week, we have been expecting a bullish momentum on this pair. Since last week, as we can see, our price has continuously respected that bullish trend line here, and the appearance of this multiple rejection by the buyers is something we need to reckon with. And another thing I was able to do on the daily time frame was to identify this $85 level. We can see how this level has been a major determinant of price action in the past. You can see what happened here between the month of October, I think the later part of October stroke the first week of the month of November 2021. We can see how this level, the $85 mark, has been a selling niche for participants in the market. You can see how that level has consistently been rejected by the sellers at this point before we saw that engulfing move to the downside. Now, that same level was broken during the early, I think sometime in the month of January this year, we saw a breakout retest of that level that took price to as far as the $129.50 area. So we saw a breakout retest of that level here, and right now price is back within that zone, hereby fortifying a possible bullish momentum on the US oil. So now going into the new week, there are two scenarios we want to be looking at. And the first scenario is how we're going to be having a trend continuation to the upside from this point. That is, price respects that bullish trend line one more time to push price to the upside, or are we going to be witnessing a significant breakdown of the $85 key level, which we identified here, after which a retest of structure will give us further confirmation to join the decline. So these are the two scenarios I want us to be looking at for this week. So to plan against the new week, what do we need to do now is to scale down to a much lower time frame, and let's see what is happening. So in this regard, we will be going down to the 4 hours time frame so that we can see what has been happening in the last couple of months. Now, when we zoom into what has been happening since mid-June, we can see that price has been on a downtrend scenario, hereby collapsing into the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame. So we were able to identify this bearish trend line after connecting the series of lower highs here. We identified this bearish trend line, and something interesting happened during the last week of the month of August. We saw a significant breakout of that bearish trend line to give us a signal that a bullish momentum is likely going to be coming in. So with the citation of this breakout of this bearish trend line here, let's zoom in so that we can see what we're talking about here. So with the citation of this breakout of this bearish trend line rather, from a technical standpoint, whenever we cite such breakouts, it could be a breakout or a breakdown of a trend line. If we cite something like this, we expect that price will come back to do a retest of that breakout to give us further confirmation to join the price movement in the direction of the proud leading, in the opposite direction of the proud leading price action. So now that we have price come back to do a retest of that bearish trend line here, remember it was broken here in the month of August. I think on the 23rd of August it was broken, and then price is back on that trend line on the first day of this month. And what do we see after the touch of that trend line? We saw price go to as far as the $89 level, rejected the $89 level, and came back into the $86.50 area. Price was unable to go as low as the previous low, giving us a clue into an evolution into a double bottom structure, which from a technical standpoint is a strong reversal pattern on a higher time frame. So right now, is this structure going to evolve into a double bottom structure? That is the question we want to be asking this week. Are we going to be seeing a double bottom structure here that would confirm a reversal pattern at this point in the market? So let's see things let's see things more clearly. So in that regard, whenever we see something like a double bottom structure like this after a very strong impulsive move, we saw a strong impulsive move since the beginning of last week to the downside here. We saw the first touch, price came into this area. We saw the second touch, which is a higher low. And like I said, when we cite such setup like this, the next thing we want to be doing is to identify the neckline of that structure, which will be our yardstick for taking advantage of that reversal pattern. So because of this, I was able to identify the $89 level as a yardstick, as a neckline of the double bottom structure here, and this $89 level will be our guide, our yardstick, and a parameter that we want to be using to guide our trading activities for this week. So what this simply states here is this: we want to see price break out of this neckline to give us that signal. And if you look closely into that breakout of that structure, you can see that the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, this black line here, we can see this black line here, that's the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame. So if we see a breakout of the neckline here at $89 level, you can see that the breakout will also share a confluence with that bullish trend line. So what this does is this: once a breakout of that structure happens, it confirms that price is right back on the top of that bullish trend line. So if this happened, remember, we don't want to get too excited at the sight of this signal. We want to wait for further confirmation in the form of a retest of structure. So the retest could either come in form of touching the $89 level or probably touching the bullish trend line here. But the most important thing we want to be looking out for is a double bottom structure. It could be a reversal pattern. It could be your head and shoulder pattern. It could be your falling wedge, whatever reversal pattern it is that supports a trend continuation to the upside. Then we want to be joining that rally from that point. So this is how we want to trade the US oil for the week. So what we are waiting for right now is a signal, and that signal should come in form of the breakout of this $89 level. So when we sight at a breakout of the 89 level, we should sharpen our tools to get ready to join the potential rally after price comes back to do a retest of structure. So for the sake of clarity, the retest of the structure could likely come on our lower time frame. So once a breakout of structure happens like this, we want to scale down to the lower time frame to look out for patterns that supports a trend continuation so that we can join the rally very early. That is that. So now I want to see how participants has been responding to this area since the beginning of the week. So let's look at what has been happening since the beginning of the week here. So since the beginning of the week, we saw our price started from the $87.30 area. So price started from somewhere around here, and since then we've been seeing this engulfing candle that took price right to the $88.50 area. We saw something like a consolidation phase here, then we saw a breakout of that area at the $88.50. So since the beginning of the week, we have been witnessing bullish momentum, giving us a clue into how participants are thinking at this point in time. However, from a technical perspective, we want to be patient enough to wait for the breakout of that structure, after which a retest of that level at $89 area will give us a confirmation to join the rally. So that is what we are looking forward to here on the US oil.